Hey guys and girls, how are you today? Yes, it's a bye week. I took a couple days off. No videos. But I wasn't off. I decided to go out to the heartland. I said, you know what? I'm stuck here in my little office. I need to go out to the people to find out what's bothering the Jet fan right now. Because perhaps my concerns about the color of their uniform, the greens they've been using lately, are not really what's bothering the people out there. Maybe there's bigger concerns out there. I don't see how there can be. I mean, we have a rookie quarterback, a rookie coach, a rookie offensive coordinator. You know, there's going to be problems. So everybody should be okay with it. So I expected to go out there and hear that, you know, the people were having the same problems that I was, you know. The green and the white just weren't. So I got on a plane. So I visited my favorite website. And it's amazing. I truly, when I first went there, you saw my videos, right? So you know my concerns. I didn't expect to be that much agreement. And although it was a limited amount of posters, and I'm sure there's some people in there just saying things like, you know, Zach sucks and nothing's wrong with LaFleur and or the Jets just suck and, you know, the whole thing. You know, for the most part, my concerns that I've been talking about were the same concerns. In fact, some of the concerns were a hell of a lot better than mine. A hell of a lot better than mine. And it's something I got to keep remembering to do, you know. I forget sometimes. A couple of weeks will go by where I don't go there as much. And anyway, so what I thought I would do is go over some of the things that they've been saying, and we'll sort of break it down to where our concerns are, you know, what we've talked about here, and go from there. And the first thing I opened up with, I happened to open up and I saw something about Kavanaugh. And I thought to myself, this should be an interesting take. And it was the same exact thing. You know, number one, where is he? Number two, why was he the choice? You know, number three, the whole, you know, Knapp thing. When Knapp died that tragic death. And then, you know, Zach had started to form a relationship with Knapp, and then all of a sudden he's gone, and we're not told anything. And then after about 30 days, we're introduced to that Kavanaugh would be coming in, and there's been no such thing. And my guess is has always been that that's LaFleur's decision, that he basically turned to Saleh and said, it's fine, I'm on the bench with Zach anyway. Because he decided not to go back up in the box. I don't know about that. Anyway, whatever help he's getting from Kavanaugh, we're not going to know about it because we don't see it. We don't see the bonding, the relationship at all on the field. So, you know, we're just not going to know about it. So that was the first one. The next one is something I wouldn't have thought of. It goes all the way from ownership down to LaFleur. I keep saying LaFleur, Ulbrich, everybody. It's how much oversight is there within this organization? It seems like when you listen to Saleh's press conferences, it seems as if we know the new setup, right? The setup has changed. You have Chris and Woody Johnson are the owners. You have Douglas as the GM. You have Saleh as the coach, and then you have his coordinators and so forth, right down the line, right? And that's exactly how it reports up the ladder. Where in the past, the coach would go directly to the owner. It's amazing how long that survived. The coach would go directly to the owner, and the GM would go directly to the owner, which could be really complicated sometimes. And it was amazing. Well, I was going to say it's amazing how it functioned. It didn't function, right? So that's it. But then we started thinking about the Johnsons as his point was, and it's a great point, is if the the one that oversees all, is so weak and just not up to the task of running a football team. How really, that's not the case. This isn't your, this really starts at Joe Douglas. And you know what? A lot of it is to blame, not blame, is my blame, our blame, the media's blame, because that's what we wanted. We didn't want the Johnsons to have anything to do with it, right? And I don't think we didn't want them to have nothing to do with it because that's the way we wanted the structure. We just didn't trust them to have anything to do with it. So automatically we wanted Joe Douglas, Johnsons, get out of here, Joe Douglas. So now we put all this trust in Joe Douglas. And now Joe Douglas is running the show. Joe Douglas is in charge of the, Saleh, and Saleh's in charge, so right off the bat, and nothing against Joe here yet. We'll keep an eye on it. But right off the bat here, there's zero accountability for the GM. He's answering to nobody. Don't get me wrong. Monday morning, crappy loss. He goes in the office. Chris and Woody walk in the door. I could see how it goes. Hey, Joe, tough loss. Because that's how they are. There's a bit of spinelessness to them, right? There's just not a backbone. There's just not a close the door and say, hey, are you effing kidding? There's just not that. So they walk in the door, and that's the way that goes. So they're Joe answers the questions, and they're careful how they answer them because they've been told to stay the F out of it. So they don't want to create any waves, and then Joe will brag. Everybody brags about the Johnsons. Saleh brags about the Johnsons. Douglas, of course they brag about him. Wouldn't you brag about an owner that's just going to leave you alone? Everybody's bragging about the Johnsons. And if the structure was so strong at the top with Joe, I would have no problem with that. I'd prefer the Johnsons not be involved. But the problem is if all this trust we're putting in Joe turns out to be misguided, it's a problem. It's going to be a big problem. The team's going to collapse quicker than you think. I don't think that to be the case. I have a lot of trust in Joe. Yeah, I'm about 90%. So what the poster was bringing up was a great point. It's an excellent point. It's something that if you're going to start out with the ownership being so weak, what kind of structure is with this team, and who's answering to who, and how much pressure is Joe asking the right questions? Is Joe there saying, is LaFleur up to it? Does LaFleur need help? Does LaFleur need somebody to bounce crap off of? Good questions. Good questions. A lot smarter than me, I'll tell you that. We'll go to the next one. The next point was a great point. It's something a lot of us think about all the time. We always think about the fact that no matter who's running the team, the problems that the Jets have are the exact problems all the time. Correct? No matter who's running the team, the offense. Go back to the days of Rex Ryan and Sanchez at quarterback, and we're going to the AFC Championship game, and Sanchez is making 2 or 3 plays that just put us over the top. The defense did their thing. It's always been, it's been so long since we had a commanding offense that it's just the structure of the team. It's been so long since we've been a team that's been good at getting off the field. Good, not great, good at getting off the field third down. But it's a really good point and something to think about. How the Jets continually. Third down, it doesn't make a difference. That was one thing the poster. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. 3rd and 4. Is there a difference with the Jets between 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 13? Most teams would, in other words, let's say it's 3rd and 7, and the offense moves, right? They got to push him back 5 yards. The normal fan throughout the country is like psyched. That's a different formation. That's a different play call, right? 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 12 are two completely different calls. The further back you go, the less play calls you have, right? For that particular play, right? Not for the Jets. Screen passes, draws, it doesn't make a difference, baby. You'll get it. So that was a really good point, too. And then we started getting into it because another poster talked about just being worn down as a Jet fan. I'll go into that a little bit later. Just being worn down as a Jet fan and how he wonders when they all got together, Joe Douglas, Christopher Johnson, and Woody Johnson. Although Woody wasn't here for that, right? No, I don't think Woody was actually here for that. When they got together and they brought Saleh in and they sat down and asked him questions and who would do this and who would do that and what kind of system would it be and what's your idea for this, what's your idea for that? Nobody sat there and said, okay, 2 first-year coordinators. Okay. They probably were not concerned with the defensive coordinator because Saleh was here. Makes sense, right? Not going to ask too many questions about the coordinators past or anything like that. You have Saleh here, so that you can't ask for any more of a backup than that. But there were no questions about the fact that Mike was being brought in. And I think because of his no experience whatsoever. He designed the run attack. And when you really break that down, how limited that is, of a role that is in the offense. I'm not going to even go, I can go all day on that one. So the poster was basically saying, was there questions asked? And I have the funny feeling, I didn't say this then, I was thinking about this now. I have a funny feeling that although he wasn't going to be involved in the play calling or he was not going to be involved in the implementation, I believe the fact when they brought up Knapp coming aboard, that sort of settled a few nerves, that you'd have Knapp next, every time Zach would come off the field, you'd have Knapp sitting next to him. I wonder if LaFleur would have been up in the box. I'm thinking about this now. It just hit me. I bet you LaFleur would have been up in the box if Knapp hadn't passed away. That was the game plan. You remember in the preseason game when he first decided, because the reason he states that he decided to stay in the field because Zach asked him to. Zach wanted him there. And I bet you LaFleur would have been up in the box all season long if tragically what happened to Knapp didn't happen, I never thought of that one. Bet you. That would make more sense. Because I just remember how much confusion there was around that first week. It was almost like we're going to try it out and see. It was like that was not the plan, That's interesting. But anyway, the poster makes a really good point on the Jet fans' tolerance, which I'm going to go into deeper when somebody else brings up something else that's really, really good too. Which leads me to the next thing. And this was a really, really good point. Somebody mentioned how you have to take, this is going to sound so egotistical from a fan base, but just hear out the whole thing before you judge me with the first line, please, okay? He said that you have to take the fan base into consideration when you're doing a rebuild like this and you're conducting your way in such a way with press conferences and making certain decisions that with most teams you wouldn't have to. Now, on the surface, that sounds like, I know how it sounds. It's not Trust me, it's not nearly how it sounds. It sounds like you got to take the Jet fan into consideration when you're making all these decisions, because they've been through so much crap, they've been through so much shit. You know, they really have to be taking. So they're so hurt, they're so down in the dumps. They can't take too much. It's not what I mean. What I mean is you have to take the fan base into consideration when you're making the same effing mistakes that previous teams, I hear somebody outside my house, where previous teams have made. You can't make the same exact mistakes. So I'm not saying you sit there and say, hey, how will the fan base take the fact that we're hiring a rookie? You know, of course you're not going to do that. But you can't be surprised that the fan base is out there screaming right now, screaming. Because what happened is the last management team that left had taken the fan base and pinched under their left arm so hard it's black and blue. It's black and blue. There's a knot there. Then you come in and you could pinch the fan base anywhere you want, and you pinch them in the same friggin' spot. Same spot. So nobody should be shocked at the outrage of a fan base when some of the mistakes that are being made have been made already. How many times I could remember Mark Sanchez on that sideline eating that hot dog alone. I can remember so many times looking at Sam on the sideline. The only bone we threw him is McCowan for a little bit. But nobody with him, no quarterback coach. And now you come in and you've got a guy, Kavanaugh, that you're talking about that we don't see, and we see this 34-year-old kid, I can call him a kid, 34-year-old kid sitting next to this young 20-something-year-old quarterback from Utah, and explaining him the meaning of life. And you truly expect the fan base not to be sitting here and saying, I'm getting the chills here, man. This movie looks so damn familiar. There's no overreaction here. I'm not overreacting to this. Have I said one thing with all the videos you guys have seen me make? Has the defense made more than 20 mistakes since the year started? Absolutely. Have I discussed the defense at all? Other than the fact that they're struggling to get off the field late in games when we need them to, but that's a discussion. We're not talking about the defense. The defense is not making right now the same exact mistakes. To me, they're not. I mean, they got a bunch of 5th, 6th, and 7th rounders and undrafted cornerbacks back there, but the decision was made. What are you going to do? You got 2 first rounders and 2 second rounders this year. Fix it. But it's the same thing, and you can't do the same thing to people. It's football. I know that. We all live very complicated lives. At the end of the day, this video goes off, I send it to YouTube, and boom, it's done. I don't think about the Jets. But all of us, every week, we donate a certain amount of hours of our life, precious time, into this team, and we're getting stepped on again. And it infuriates me when people are surprised at the reaction of Jet fans, especially other Jet fans. If I'm the other Jet fans and you have a separate opinion, for instance, my opinion is that I think Zach Wilson's still going to be a great quarterback. If you want to trash that, go ahead, kill it. That's fine. Don't trash my ability to say, this shit that I see smells exactly the same as the same thing that I saw about a year or two ago. I'm allowed to, because it does. And I believe in my heart. I really, really believe in my heart. If they're not going to do anything to fix it, the only person that's going to fix this is Zach Wilson. Because I'm not doubting that LaFleur's actual plays are solid. I'm doubting that his actual plays may not fit a rookie quarterback, period. If Zach is able to fast learn this all and it starts to make sense to him, he'll save the day. He'll save LaFleur's ass. But the plays we're seeing run right now should have been for week 12, 13, and 14. That's my opinion. And that's a lot of Jets' opinion as far as how much rope we have given this kid. So, makes you wonder. We'll get to the next one. And then there was a real quiet one that came in like the back door. And it came to me twice. How did it come to me? 3 times. It came to me from a text of a buddy of mine who's like so fed up. He can't even watch the team anymore. And I was like, come on, when I first read it. And then I was on, where did I see the second one? Oh, I was going around the internet and I found a channel of, who's that sports guy? And he said it in passing, like jokingly. I said, is he serious? Then I go to the website and I hear this guy post it. And I would look at it as it's something to keep an eye on. But I'm sure he's reading the same thing, and I expect a very big game out of him this week. And that is John Franklin Myers and his new gigantic contract and his lack of appearance this past Sunday. I mean, here's a guy that gets up to the podium, shedding tears, sharing about his son. I mean, it was emotional, right? And then really has the flattest game that he's had maybe in since the first game I saw him play with the Jets. I can't buy that one today. I can't. No. So I'm gonna dismiss that one. But I gotta tell you, that's where your head goes when you're a Jet fan. With everything else that's going around. I don't look at it as a bad remark or something that you just don't go there. Everything's open right now. Everything's on the table. Because you know why? We're 1-4, and it's October again. And everybody expected a rebuild this year. Everybody. But we're not stupid. We know if we were 1-4 in a different way, trust me, the fan base wouldn't be reacting like this. Not at all. Not at all. Just like we weren't stupid in those last 7 or 8 games when we had that run with Gase that brought him that the following year. We looked at that and said that was the biggest farce, biggest nonsense run you've ever seen. Anybody buying that into the decision they make for the following year is an idiot. The bottom line is that did it really take to have an extra week, a bye week, to sit down and go over these slow starts? Thank God the bye week wasn't week 11. That's all I'm going to say about that for now. And to wrap up the video, the last thing I wrote down here, but most of the anger just rests at the Saleh/LaFleur relationship. There are so many questions about it, and that's, and it makes me just feel better about the videos that I've made recently, because it's pretty much, it's a valid question. It's a valid concern. It really, really is. I posted in there, and one of the things I said, what happens at the end of the year if Zach plays, let's say, 3 good, solid games, 7 or 8 kind of games, and 5, 3, 7, 10, 7, 7, not 7, just 3 or 4 Patriot games. And the last game of the season is January 9th, 2022. And on January 10th, the press will be getting together and be waiting for the Jets to come out and make some kind of end of the year statement. And whether it's made on the 10th or the 12th or the 13th, at some point the Jets will come out and they will say, Saleh will say, because he'll be back no matter what. And I hope so. Right now, I hope so. That could always change. And Saleh will say either, I liked the progress that both sides of the field made, and everybody will be retained and will be back next year for year 2. Which we don't know how this season's going to go. May make total sense. Or if the scenario I just painted of those kind of games for Zach, and he comes out, let's say, and says that, or he comes out and says, we're going to have meetings, we're going to go over the whole year, and then we'll come to some kind of decision how we're going to go forward for next year. One or the other. He's not going to come out day 2 or day 3 and fire LaFleur. But the question is, if it's really that bad and it stays this way, let's say the whole, what are we, 1 and 4. Let's say 5 times 3 is 15 and 2 is 17. So, okay, 75, 70. So a certain percentage of the season is gone. Let's say every single game matches what we've seen so far. There's going to be 3 more Panther games, 2 or 3 more Patriot games, 3 more Titan games, 3 more, going down the list, okay? 2 more of this, 2 more of that. And at the end of the year, we're 1 and 4, 4 and 12, 4 and 13, 5 and 11, something like that. 4 and 13, 5 and 12, something like that. And what you see so far is it. They wouldn't have the guts to come out next year somehow and surprise us in the spring and say, and standing to LaFleur, bless you, and standing to LaFleur's side this year, we're going to have, also helping out with certain things. No, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't wait till next year and do that. No. That would be bad, to wait till next year to do that. So really, that's where Jet fans' heads at. And I understand it. I respect it. I used to be a Jet fan, truthfully, that would go into websites. That website, it's the only website I really used to go on. And I'd had discussions with fans over the years. I used to get in a heated discussion with this one poster about his big thing was he hated Herm Edwards and he hated the Johnsons and the ownership and no Super Bowl since 1969. And every year he would change how many years it's been. It was, argument. So, and I kept saying to him, I go, you hate Herm Edwards and you hate the GM for the roster. I go, but the Jets are going to make the playoffs. Made the playoffs. We didn't, of course, win the Super Bowl. And I said, so it has to be one or the other. We either have to have a good roster and a crappy coach, or a really good coach and a crappy roster. It can't be both. It can't be a great coach. It can't be a crappy coach and a crappy roster. You can't make the playoffs. We were 10-6 that year. I said, it's got to be one or the other. And this discussion lasted almost 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe longer. I mean, heated, like pissed off, like it would carry into my day. I'd come home and I'd look at the thing real quick to see what the son of a bee wrote. My point is, I was trying to figure out why I brought this up. My point is, back then, years, Jet fans used to, argue. The run lately is, I don't judge Jet fans anymore. I don't judge anything that comes out of a Jet fan's mouth. They are like the use that as an example. You know, they've been through so much grief that you almost got to just, let's put it this way. I've read hundreds of posts. I went through one thread there that was a Zach Wilson thread. How he lost us the games. I don't believe that. You know, I mean, I don't believe. I believe his arm. Yeah, with throw 4 interceptions, it did. But I just think there's more to that. But as I'm reading it, I'm not agreeing with a lot of it. But I understand. I understand it. I understand where that thinking can come from. That's why this Falcon game was ridiculous. And that last video I made, I know I was heated. But that's the reason why. We should be sitting there 2-3. That was not a good football team. That was not a good football team. At all. The Falcons are not a good football team. So there's where we sit, guys. There's where we sit. Have a great one. Thegangrene.com is the website I go to. I love the site. The people there are fantastic. I don't use any of their names because I didn't ask permission to use any of their names. But they're good people over there. Have a great day, guys.